5. Welcome to West Virginia and Commonplace. Today, I have a legendary guest, and I'm talking legendary like Gladys Knight and the Pips, maybe even more legendary like a Patti LaBelle type, but he's a male. I have with me Michael Banks. To the world, he is Mike Banks. To North Carolina, he's their legend. To Central Virginia, on top of Candler's Mountain, down Sunny Mead Road, that's Mike Banks. That's Tanya Banks territory. These was two people I grew up with. We rode the bus together. They personified what a brother and sister was about. Me and my sister kind of tried to mirror y'all, but we was the light skinned versions. But you skinny and I've always been husky. I ain't never changed. So Mike Banks, I'm gonna give you the floor. Introduce yourself and tell them about you because a lot of people already know. You know you one of Restburg's finest, class of 2000.
2001, baby.
You didn't let me get the N one in. N one. All right. So go ahead. Tell the people about yourself, Mike.
Well, yeah, most of y'all already know I'm Mike Banks, Michael Banks from Rustburg, aka Lynchburg, all up in graduated Rustburg High School '01. Graduated with some real friends, some real other legends too.
Yeah, and let me tell you about this class real quick. Hold on, let me get into this. This is the last great class of Rustburg athletes. We're talking state champions from the Konigs to the football teams. Y'all had regional prowess. People were scared of you. The year after you left was the year that Gretna became a powerhouse.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I graduated with a class, like I said, a dynamite class. I graduated with a bunch of guys and girls. They could put it in on the court, was smart in the classroom. Yeah, like you said, state football rings, track, basketball, like yeah, softball, baseball, yeah. So I graduated with a bunch of great people. I also went to high school with a bunch of great people. I rode the bus with you and your sister and a whole bunch of other great fun people, man. Like we all learned from each other. We all fit in well. It was different characters, different personalities, but it was all fun, man. Like it was all fun. That was a great time back then, man. But after '01, life changed, man. Things get real when you leave and go out into this world.
Right.
It gets real.
So before we get into the deep part of you, because you got a mystery about you. All right, now here's the thing, guys. This is my Living Legend series. The reason that Mike Banks is living legend, and I want to say this, and this is like this ain't none of that hallmark stuff, but this is kind of soft for some of y'all people. Mike Banks was one of these people that when you came up with him, he was not a disrespectful cat. He was a dude that was humble, and he commanded respect by what he did. Like he would stick up for you if something went down or something went crazy, but it was the in school, the being cool outside of school, and being this down ass dude on the bus. He had some knowledge, so he was wise. I'm not saying you're not wise now, but what I take away from him, and he won't remember this because we was young. My father died when I was real young, and he died when in 1994. Well, Mike Banks, I'm not saying he took me under his wing as a father or anything, nothing like that. What I'm saying is when we get on the bus, he would tell me some things because I used to have a real loose head. I was a loose cannon on the bus. I mean, I threw batteries at the bus driver when we was going down the road. And you don't remember this, but I always remember you told me that it was no need for the nonsense. You told me that one time, and for the rest of my life, I always tell people that. I'm like, it's no need for the nonsense. And even when we was in school, it was cats in my grade because I'm 3 years under you. I was '04, so that when I was a freshman, you were a senior. People looked up to you. People was like, "Man, I want to be like Mike Banks." Mike Banks had the fresh Jordans. Mike Banks had it all. He even had the haircut, had the crazy hairline going on with the waves spinning. He used to look like the Tidewater. So, so I ask you this: what is it like in life to be a legend and not know you a legend?
It's different, man. I don't try to be a legend, man. I just try to be me and try to be a leader and try to be an example for myself. And then maybe that I can be an example to other people, and maybe somebody will look up to me. But I don't intend for it, man. Like for real, like I don't never intend to be a legend. Never intended to be nobody but myself, man. Just that's it. I grew up watching people I looked up to, and I wanted to be like them. Like there was a lot of guys in my classes above me that I looked up to, and I wanted to be just like them, and I considered them legends. So I just tried to do what they did and just be the cool guy. Just try to keep a cool head and keep you youngsters from acting up, but just really just be myself, man.
And
I never knew it though.
Yeah, and see the crazy thing is, like you said, you never knew that you was doing this while you was looking at somebody else. People was looking up to you. Now we'll go through high school. We go to Rustburg High School. Our demographic is crazy. You got us on top of Kendall's Mountain. We're the Yellow Branch crew. That's what we was. Yellow Branch. Then it was JJ Frey crew, which is Rustburg Elementary now. Then you had Concord, and then you had them other random little places like the Cable Avenue kids that used the address to get to go to school with us. You know I'm classic because I got a good memory. Got a good memory. And look, and the kids on the other side of 29 that should have went to Brookville, but by Burley's Market that went to Rustburg. Okay, so that's everybody. And maybe some of them Windfall, Alta Vista kids, but who cares? So
just running the street.
Yeah, just it was run of the mill. So we had middle class, we had low class, we had this and that. And not stepping on anybody's toes, but I never realized, I didn't think that I grew up poor or anything, but I never knew that we truly grew up middle class. Because, you know, we had people in trailer parks down the road. People had nice houses here and there. We had subdivisions. We didn't think of all that stuff because I could be quick to walk to the trailer park and hang out with them kids and never step foot in my own subdivision and talk to anyone. So how did that translate to you when you got older?
Right.
Like, because you know you're from the upper middle class. I'm from the middle class. How did that transfer over?
Right.
Like,
I never knew I was even from the upper middle class either. Like I said, like you said, the trailer park's right down the street, and half the time I didn't even hang out in my hood. I didn't even hang out in the neighborhood.
Right. No, I never did either.
Lynchburg. I always hung out on Old Fort. So like I didn't look at it like that. So I never realized that. But like I said, I try like now, like till now, like I can hang out with anybody, man. Like I got friends in high rich places and I got friends at the bottom of the pit. So like it don't change, man. It don't change.
All right, so let's go into another scope of things. Athletics. Tell them about high school for you. Tell them about high school for you. What made you a legend in athletics?
Oh man. Well, I played ball. I ran track. Track was my thing, man. Track was
your
my
thing. Now, I will say this. I have a friend that I still consider, you was fast, but I consider my friend the fastest dude in Rustburg. Old Barry Preston.
Oh, my cousin Barry Preston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what do you got to say to that real quick? Do you consider Barry Preston the fastest man in Rustburg? Hello? Hello? Yeah, it went out for a second on us. Can you hear me? That thing went crazy.
Quick.
Yeah, all right, so it's back in. So look.
Had to check on the kid.
Oh. Hey, so look, I'll edit that little part out real quick. But let me ask you, do you consider Barry Preston the fastest?
Yes.
It was something about him. We talking about legend. It was something about him.
He had speed out of nowhere. Like he had some real speed.
Just uncanny, right?
Like, whoo! Like that dude was a different type of player, different athlete.
But the thing is that he got his form running with you. See, that's where you don't ever pick up on things. We would talk later on in life because, you know, I'll tell you a story about him. Barry Preston got me into wrestling. As great a runner he was an accomplished wrestler too. But he stuck with track because he stuck with track because that was a smart thing. but he was still bad at wrestling, you know? So,
Yeah, yeah.
you
And
know,
people didn't know he could pick up a ball.
he could.
Yeah, people didn't know.
I see it. When we was in Eastbrook, it will never that he was always trying to race me. I'm fat, bro. I don't even run. I play soccer, but I stop and grab my chest, you know? And
Right.
all right, so now let me tell you, so that's part of your legend right there. You know, Barry would go in because we used to talk about who he would race. You know, you was competition for it. And I'm not saying
Yeah,
anybody else, I'm not gonna say anybody else afterwards wasn't, but like he was in a league of his own. Now let's go over to basketball real
yeah,
quick. Y'all had some ballers. It was a stacked
yeah.
group because you come
We
from
had a
that,
bunch of
you come from a group that had prior like the Haskins, the Andres of the world. You came from a core of ballers, correct?
yes,
And your core
yes, sir,
ballers,
yes.
your core ballers ended in '02. I'm gonna keep it real. '02, '03. That group that came up with you, I ain't gonna name drop everybody, but the Justin Penns and everybody else, you know, by the time after you left and after they was gone, I mean, Rushworks had ballers, but the thing is that our athletics has not been the same really since y'all left. Everybody was shell shocked after that. There may have been some state championships. We ain't even looking at them records, but it was just your class. Your class did the thing. Now,
Yeah.
now, Mike, we got to get to the nitty gritty. So you graduate in '01. And what was you thinking after you graduated? Which way did you hit in life? Where'd you go?
Went straight to college, man. Like I left and went straight to Florida.
And how was
I
that?
went to went down to FAMU for a while, man.
And how things turn out there? They turn out pretty good?
Yeah, shout out to Raptors. It was pretty good, but it wasn't for me, man. Like I came, where we came from,
Right.
and
Yeah.
anybody from my area, you've been.
Hold on. Let me turn it. My bad. Go
I know you
ahead.
good. Anybody from our area, if you go down to Florida, you go down to Tallahassee, it's a different scene. So the scene was very different, and it was larger than me. Let's just say it was larger than me.
All right. So, and I
So
like that because you didn't say one thing that I wanted you to say, but I'm glad you didn't say pressures of the world. You just said it was larger than you. I was looking for you to come
yeah,
with
it was larger than me. Because going to school was cool, going to practice, all that, going to track practice, all that was cool. It was staying focused was my problem. It was
Okay.
staying focused.
All right.
So
So
because it was a
here,
lot of women.
a lot of women. I feel you on that. Hey, that's how life was then, and probably could be now. But you settle down. You're doing the right thing in life. I'm
Yeah.
getting back to that. I had a little thing happen, but anyway, I'm getting back to that. So, the thing that the crowd wants to know, and this is like mainly for Rustburgers, this is like some fanboy stuff. Like you disappeared, bro. You may have came back for cameo appearances, but let's say from the time that you left high school to the time I graduated '04, you was dormant. You was like a volcano that used to erupt, but you was gone.
Yeah.
And that's where this mystery and this cloud surrounds you and makes your story so big and what people want to know. So what was Mike Banks doing when he left Virginia?
Wow, man. Enjoying life, enjoying the world, man, seeing the world. Like I said, I went to FAM. I left FAM and I came back and went to A&T, graduated A&T 06. But yeah, from the time I left high school to the time you graduated, I was just back and forth, man. Like I said, I went down to FAM for a year, enjoyed that scene that was like, then came and landed in Greensboro, North Carolina.
And that's where you've been since.
Yeah,
Living
that's
it
right.
up.
I've been here.
And mind you, like this is my actual first foray. Like I come through Greensboro because I travel everywhere. But then, like with how my job changed, I actually get to stay in these places and live a little bit and see how y'all do things here. Like I must say that I see why you stay here. Like it's something enticing. It's something enticing everywhere. The culture, the people. It ain't just black and white. It's everything. I mean, I was in one
Yeah.
spot. I was in one spot. I seen some Ugandans, and I'm down with the Sudanese. So the Sudanese, that's a whole different breed. And I'm like, just in general, just talking about culture and the food here. Like y'all got one Jamaican spot I mess with, and y'all got other things there, but that ain't part of the legend. Like, so we're gonna get into a deeper topic real quick. What is something that you would say to the youth, because you're a positive person. Like, let me get a story on you real quick so people notice. On the internet, this man is what we call a social media light. A social media light, in that sense, is you post positive things. Sometimes things get real, and you got some gangster posts, because sometimes you be in your feelings. We all do that. But you post a hard message, and I'm talking about your message goes, because me and him are deep friends on social media. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Snapchat is where my realm. I'm hard on the Snapchat. But you post stuff everywhere. And how does that make you feel knowing that like some of the things that you post, like some of the real stuff you post some days, like I will quote some of the stuff you post, even if it ain't your words. I will like tell somebody who's just down and out, or they got problems with baby's mom or baby's dad. I will put some of that stuff that you put out there about people being real and getting rid of this fakeness. I will put that out there for people. How does it make you feel that you're reaching people and you don't even know it, just like your legend?
Yeah, that made me feel good too, because I got, like I said, I got a lot of followers, and I don't be knowing who be seeing what I post. I mean, you see who likes it and everything, but sometimes people just read the post but not like it.
Right.
But like, I'm just glad some of them, a lot of my posts are touching people, because a lot of people don't. They'll look at it, keep scrolling. But like I said, like you and a few other people and a lot of other people that I know, that I see them reposting. I'm like, oh, okay. Or they inbox me, be like, yo, I needed that. I'm like, whoa, I didn't even know I was really reaching out to anybody. Sometimes I just like something and I see it. I'm like, you know what? I like that. I'm going to just post it. Or I
Right.
think of something. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to post that.
And see, now are you starting to understand? Yeah. Are you understanding the things that make you a living legend? It's the part of like being a legend and stuff. And I had to learn it myself, because I was told that I was one too. They call me Larry Sabisco. You don't know about that, but that's a different day for another time. The thing is that like these minor little things to you are so monumental for people, because like I'm telling you, I didn't realize the grasp that social media has. Because we went to school with some people, I ain't gonna call them weird or not, but people that were socially awkward, right? And even at this point, have you noticed like the socially awkward reach out to you now? You never probably talked to them a day in high school, but somebody be like, bam, 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 bam. They say something to you, and they like, you lit my life up like a disco ball or something. You get that?
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that's living legend status. That makes you a living legend, because someone has taken a belief in you, a myth, and made it gigantic.
Hey, and I appreciate that, man,
Right.
because you never know who you're reaching. So I didn't even know I could be reaching people like that. So
right,
I
and that's like I said, that's the whole power of everything. And just like you coming on my podcast, we're gonna flip the script real quick. Let's go into what you do on the podcast. I need you to plug that podcast, tell everybody what's going on with that.
Oh yeah, man. Y'all check out the Man Cave 336. Definitely check that out, man. That's me and my guys, a few good friends. We just talked about real life men things that men don't talk about, like love, relationships, what they're thinking, how they feeling, like stuff that that you have, barbershop talk that you have with your boys, or sometimes it's impersonal talk. Or sometimes things that you just look at your girl and you might like, I want to say that, but I ain't gonna say that. Or I want to tell you how I feel, but it may make me look different. We just letting guys know it's cool, because I hang out with some married guys and some divorced guys and some single guys like myself. So, so like we all hang together and we just like learn from each other. And like I really learn from them, because like I said, I got the married guys and the divorced guys. So I see where they went wrong and I see where they're still going right. So you learn, and then we just try to help each other out so we can be positive to everybody else out here. So the followers that we got and that we gained, they can, take a positive message and see men are being positive out here.
Now, I'm going to say this to my audience. Listen up. Y'all got to check out that podcast. The only thing he did not do that I'm going to ask him to do real fast is plug where you can hear this podcast at.
Oh, man, I'm so sorry. You can hear us on Anchor FM. You can hear us on Spotify. You can hear us on, if you got your Apple phones, all my Apple people, you got a podcast app on your phone. You just type in the Man Cave 336, and it's going to pop up a bottle of Hennessy, but don't worry about that. That is definitely us. And just check us out. Yeah, just give us a listen to. And we're trying to get it out more places right now. We got a new episode. We got 3 episodes out already. We got a 4th episode coming very soon, actually in the next 2 weeks to be exact. Can't drop exactly. It'll be on a Saturday or Sunday, but it's going to be in 2 weeks. We got another episode 4 coming out, and we're gonna be talking about mental health for men. Just so you know, like that's how.
And what I like about your crew is like you didn't use this word, but I'm the one with the vernacular here. No offense. You deal with the taboo. That's what you deal with. And it's hard for people to do that because I'm kind of clear cut. You know, I had these fun conversations with you and people I know, but when I'm doing these normal guest interviews, you know, I'll go into the taboo a little bit, but then I won't go all the way. But y'all guys go full through with this. And listeners, I want y'all to know, like, they got a great podcast over here. Give them a listen. I'm gonna talk to them later, try to get him to get it on Amazon radio thing. I'm gonna try to get it on iHeartRadio. I'm just plugging these things for you because those are the future for you.
Yeah, I need that. Oh, and you can always check out the live videos because not only do we have the podcast, while we're doing the podcast, we're shooting live videos. But they're recorded and saved on Instagram. They're on the Man Cave 336 on our Instagram page. You can check that out as well. Definitely can follow that as well.
And also on a solo tip, Mike is not plugging this once again. I keep coming at you. I'm giving you the good marketing, and you dropping the ball is sort of like a team I ain't gonna say nothing about, but you know, we're not, and we talking about the Cowboys. We ain't talking about the Eagles. We talking about the Cowboys. You dropping the ball at the Cowboys. Mike, you know, he don't want to admit it, but he's a self-help guru too. So he gonna plug his Instagram real quick so y'all can get at him.
Yeah, man. Definitely always check my personal Instagram out at Big Money Banks, and that's big_money. And definitely check me out. Like I said, they know me in North Carolina as Banks, and Virginia, they know me as Mike Banks, Michael Banks. You know, the kid from Campbell County, baby.
On top of the mountain, and I just like, I'm just really ecstatic because I'm just like, man, baby. I finally got to link up with you. We're getting this interview in, and you pushing out this positivity in the world. So we're gonna go into a small sector of people with this. What do you say to somebody that aspires to do a roundtable podcast with his friends? How does he get started doing that?
Honestly, because I got a lot of friends, but don't choose all your friends. You got to have the right group. It always has to be the right group of people. So it's got to be the circle that you can bounce off of, that bounces off of you, because that's how we are. Like, that's why we're so small. And it's because it's only 5 of us, but we bounce off each other well, and we know each other's story. We've been around each other long enough. Like, been around each other to know each other, seen each other's ups and downs since we've been around each other for the last, I'm gonna honestly say the last 7 to 8 years.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's probably been longer. I'm gonna just say 7 to 8 years. So, like, we just we're a group of good guys. So if you're gonna do a podcast with your friends, just make sure it's some friends that you can, like I said, bounce off well in a podcast that you can sit down and have a real conversation with, because that's all we're doing. We're not acting like the camera's there. We're not acting like the podcast is there. We're just having a real topic discussion on real topics. So it's how you want to do it, but pick you a good group of friends to do it with.
All right, now this is one thing that's kind of curious to the world, and they want to notice because, like I said, after this podcast is going to put you in a different light. So how come there's not a Mike Banks show, or there ain't a Banks podcast?
Well, the Man Cave 336. That is it. That's it.
That's you and your crew, bro. That's you and your crew.
Yeah, I mean, but that's how you're gonna get the inside of me is that way. I don't do the solo missions. I mean, I can, but I'd rather do it with my friends and my guys that we all got a story to tell. Because I mean, I got my own story, but we all got a story to tell. So
y'all trying to tell it together
like that, man.
All right, I respect that. Yeah. I respect that. So the only way we're gonna get the solo story sometimes is if I pull you out of the woodworks and get that podcast out of you every few months or so. Is that what you're telling me, basically?
Yeah. Because we all separated, do our own separate little other podcasts or guest appearance or interviews, but then we all come back together. So yeah, only way you can get a one-on-one shot is an interview. Yeah.
Okay, so now let me get you here with one thing. All right, we're going back to high school. Tell me the Mike Banks crew. Who was in the Mike Banks crew in high school?
Oh man, everybody know who was in the Legends crew of '01, baby. Eric Scott, Tony Jefferson, T.J. McCray, Jason Boyd, Tim Marshall, Justin Ferguson, and myself,
Ferguson.
Man. Like that, that was a round table right there. We was the boys at the table right there.
Right, and I give it to you because I remember Marshall. I'm gonna give a little thing on him. He was always pretty boy. He had the polos. He was always looking extra nice. I'm not gonna say that I took my style from him, but I did take a little bit of my Nautica later on in life. Keeping that collar nice and stuff from him. And Mr. Ferguson over there, Mr. Motorcycle, Mr. out here doing everything, and Mr. Jason Boyd. Oh my Lord, Army man, correct?
Army man, right? Yeah,
Army man. Eric Scott, man, he's out here. He's a beast right now.
Yeah, big
he
man.
Like killer. I'm like, man, I'm trying to get like him on a Thursday. Tony Jefferson out in New York City. We won't say too much on him. We'll just say he's living a good life out there. He's the family.
Yeah, that's my guy too. That's my guy too. Shout out all the man, all legends, all champs, champs.
Yeah, and everybody. We want and Mr. McCray out there doing things because he's out here there. He's another one of them beasts. And one that one I won't forget. Yeah, one I won't forget is wasn't there a CJ Dixon?
Oh man, yes, my guy. I knew I was forgetting people because it was so much, but my man CJ Dixon, yes, that's my other crew right there. Jared Pinnell, CJ Dixon, her big Hareem Day. That's my right there, baby. That's my other crew right there. Jared Pinnell, I was like my bigger brother right there, man.
Yeah, and it's crazy, like, and all these people, even like it trickles down. So we'll say that's 99, 01. I'll always say this about our group of people from 99. I'll stretch it to 2008 because there was some young kids. You had young cousins and different people in there from 1999 to 2008. That was Rustburg. Then whatever goes on after that is just a new generation of people that we don't know about.
Yeah, that's facts, man.
Right.
That's facts.
and when people talk to me, because people be like, man, JR, you're a historian. You remember this and that. You can remember the battle of, what was the boy's name we was in middle school? Bebe and somebody. I was like, I wasn't even there, but I heard the story, You remember what happened with Bebe. And and let me ask you this, coming from your class, it's crazy that we're all almost 40 now. Like I'm 35.
Right.
Y'all older than me, so y'all almost 40.
Yeah, I'm 37.
37. That's what I'm saying. So it's crazy, and that's crazy that 37 to 35 in 4 years of difference. I must have been kind of slow or something. I don't know, but anyway.
I never understand school math versus the age math.
Right, I swear to God, because I was like the smartest kid in my class, and I was like, I'm wondering why sometimes. But anyway, along this way, like the crazy thing that nobody talks about any of the history that goes on is like, we've lost a lot of people in between times. One person I want to shout out that a lot of people forgot about is Natasha Robinson.
Man,
she was one of the ones, that just.
That was like my first girlfriend, like from middle school to like my ninth grade, even in ninth grade, like we dated from 8th grade to 9th grade. Like that was my first girlfriend. So like that messed me up because I didn't even know about it and I had to hear about it because I faded away and I was like, wow.
Right, and it's crazy, so, they said, and I'm sorry to bring it up like that, but people like, JR, you just weird historian, you just name off a random person and you bring back a million memories. And I tell people, I was like, because, just because you dated Natasha, I may have dated one of the younger sisters,
Right.
Right. So everything ties in there. So Natasha, we're going to always think about you. You was a nice lady. And anyway, on to another note on here. One thing we do on my show, and I hope you haven't listened to any shows. I pray to God you didn't. You got to tell us something right now. You got to tell us something right now, bro. You got to tell us either a hidden talent or something that nobody knows about you. We're gonna need that right now.
A hidden talent or something nobody knows. Oh. Hidden talent. I do a podcast. Nobody knows I do the podcast. I coach my little man in football. So yeah.
Okay, so the podcast. I mean, you don't have a hidden talent like you can do a handstand or some Omarion type stuff or something.
I ain't got no hidden talent like that.
You ain't no dancer, you ain't no beatboxer, you don't throw a piece of cardboard down and start dancing like they did in the 80s, you know? You ain't got none of that. I just always ask. All right, so
yeah.
So I will ask you this. Who are you gonna give a shout out to? Because we're nearing the end of the show, and I always like to let people take time. Who are you gonna give a shout out to? One person I'm gonna give a shout out to is to your sister Tanya. Tanya was nice to me, and she would get into my ass sometimes when I was out of line. It was always the nonsense. Y'all preach a deal of no nonsense, and it makes sense in life. So Tanya, you're gonna get a shout out from me. Ain't seen you in a long time, but you was always nice, and you reminded me of what sister was it off of Bill Cosby? One of the sisters off of Bill Cosby.
Vanessa.
Yeah. Yes. Ah. And see, you're wrong because you was thinking that too. You're wrong. I hope she don't beat you up later.
Oh man. Shout out everybody in Westburg, man. Shout out you, JR. Like, shout out. That's my shout out, man. Okay. Everybody back home, baby, that I see that I don't get to talk to, that I don't get to run into when I do pop up. Shout out all y'all, man.
Yeah, and let me ask you about this because I learned this from all of you. I follow this. Like, I like the mystery that we have when we come into the city, like, because we're brand new. How does that feel when you come back to the city and they ain't seen you in a long time? Like, I got people running up like I'm a celebrity or something. Like I said, it gets to me sometimes because I'd be like, man, we wasn't even that cool. Back in the day, you didn't give me no play, you know. but now I'm chopped liver, you know. So. Like, what is that? So your pop-up game, when you come to town, how long are you usually in town? 2 days, 1 day, a few hours?
Depending on the situation, 2 days, maybe 3. Just depends on the situation. In and out. So it's like you said.
and I'll tell you, like, my trick is this. Like, I have a group of core friends that they keep my phone number. They're on Snapchat and stuff like that. So I leave them clues, you know. I'm like, I'll be right here, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, yo, I'm going to be in Lynchburg at this time. If you want to chill, be right here. If you're not going to be right here, then I'm not going to see you. And I don't take no extra time out because I got my normal spots. I hit Moore's Hot Dogs. We used to have the Shanghai Express, get that R22. And then, stuff just disappeared from there. So I appreciate you in teaching how to, come into town and leave town unnoticed. So Mike Banks, once again, brother, I would like to tell you, from me and from West Virginia Commonplace, it was awesome to have you on the show, bro.
Hey man, I appreciate you having me. I thank you for having me. Sorry I'm moving around so much, but yeah, I appreciate you for having me on here, man. And like I said, man, shout out to everybody back home, man. I gotta do better keeping in contact, but shout out to everybody back home, man.
But everybody's gonna know you again, and you're gonna probably make some new fans out here because you got fans. That's another thing we'll talk about on another episode. I'm gonna have a round table with a bunch of Westburg people. We're gonna talk about fans because fans, it's another term inside that fans, but we won't mention it today. So once again, thank you for coming on, and I will holler.